Good morning, good afternoon, welcome to Lviv, Ukraine. Global Meetings Industry Day 2022. First time ever online. Around 2 weeks ago, we have met on the 7th of April all around the world to celebrate. This year's motto was Meet Safe. Very important to us here in Central and Eastern Europe. I would like to invite you for a journey around the events professional world. Why it's so important to meet safe? Because it's really important just to meet. Why it's so important to speak these days about Lviv and Ukraine? You will understand. Because today we are with our friends. Today we are with the international planners and event professionals in Lviv, and today we are with the locals who support, who create, and who build the economic impact of events. Meet Safe. Let me introduce the co-host of the event and the organizer of the event, Sofia Kainska, Lviv Convention Bureau Director. Sofia, floor is yours.
Thank you, Krzysztof. Thank you for joining us for this event. We are really happy to welcome you all virtually. Hopefully you will have a chance to come to our beautiful country. I'm sure that now everyone knows where is Ukraine. And of course you will know where is Lviv. It's on the western part of Ukraine. So we will tell you more a little bit later. Now I want you to know that Lviv joined Global Meetings Industry Day even earlier, but now we have the opportunity to go live and to tell you more about us, so the world knows what is going on in Ukraine, that we have great people here, that we are inspired, and I think we are inspiring. So welcome all. We will have some panels here. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Lviv, Ukraine. So, as I remember, there's a good coffee in Lviv. Am I right?
Coffee, chocolate, great people, culture. Yeah.
Feel invited around 1 hour, maybe 90 minutes. It depends on you. This is the time, the momentum to enjoy some of the pictures from Lviv. There will be 2 content-driven panels, couple of discussions. I promise you will get the update about the Ukraine industry and about the current situation. Global Meetings Industry Day, Ukraine 2022. Feel invited. We start now. We just started the Global Meetings Industry Day, Ukraine. Why in Lviv? I've been looking for connections, and my connection is Nicholas University, Nicholas Copernicus University, in fact. This is my university from my hometown, and it was established almost 8 years ago in Lviv, in Ukraine. And now we are in Lviv. Sofia, yep. Your city.
Yes, that's my beautiful city. And that's good that you mentioned the university, because at the beginning I told you that we had like good coffee, chocolate, culture, but we also have science. We have really strong scientists in Lviv, like scientists, doctors. So thank you for reminding me why actually I started working in meetings industry, to popularize all our great scientists.
So this is the momentum that your coffee is ready. We have Sofia, we are in Lviv, and we just started talking about association events, because scientists are directly linked to the conferences. I know it as a scientist. However, I told you, my university was established in Lviv and later moved to Toruń. So how many universities are in Lviv around?
So that's around 11 universities, like higher education institutions. So I think that's a lot, actually.
It's a lot, and you have your coffee, and we have a scientist, and we have the expert from Ukraine. So Global Meetings Industry Day, Ukraine is about Meet Safe, us all around the world. We are a little bit late because they started 7th of April. However, it's always good to celebrate, especially in Lviv. Can you tell me a little bit more about the cities in Ukraine in general. There will be a momentum that we are come back to the Lviv, but now, first of all, about Ukraine. So, how many cities? What are the top 5, 10 biggest cities? Where is Lviv? What is the population? Anything like basic dates. Let's start the bidding process for the event.
Well, first of all, Ukraine is the second biggest country in Europe, and it's close to Russia, close to Poland, close to Belarus, Romania, and we also are neighbors with Turkey via sea. We have more than 400 cities in Ukraine, and Lviv is the seventh biggest city in our country. So it is famous for being the cultural capital of Ukraine. That's what I'm happy about. And we can talk a lot about Lviv being a nice city, being UNESCO city, being scientific city, and we have the support of our Lviv City Council about youth politics. So yeah, I think we are really European city, even if we are not in European Union yet.
And the capital? A few words about the capital?
So the capital of Ukraine is Kyiv. We also recently call it the capital of freedom.
The capital of freedom, the capital of Ukraine, and you said Lviv. Before Lviv, about a few other top 3 ideas about Ukraine and Ukraine culture that we've never heard. Some stories, some gossips, your favorite dish. Ukrainian favorite dish.
I will be not original, but I really like borscht. So yeah, that's my favorite dish. Of course, I like coffee, even if it's not Ukrainian like in general, but still in Lviv we drink a lot of coffee. That's the stereotype, but still, yes, we do drink coffee in Lviv. And the third thing, we are freedom lovers.
Freedom lovers, we are going to be back, but first of all, let's speak a little bit about the conference venues, conference facilities, hotel chains. Can you tell me a little bit more? What kind of international hotel chains are in Ukraine in general, and which of them have the hotels, 4-star, 5-star hotels in Lviv especially?
In Lviv we have just one chain for now. That's Ibis hotels. And about Ukraine.
And about Lviv, so the biggest venue in Lviv?
That's Arena Lviv. It can host, like in one room, 1,200 people. But of course, if you take the whole venue, it's more like 2,000 people.
Okay, so Arena Lviv and top 3 interesting boutique hotels with the capacity in Lviv. Where we should stay. If I'm going to bring the event to Lviv, I'm going to have 1,000 scientists. I'm working in the field of events, so my colleagues and professors will be from the events field. We are coming to Lviv. Where should we stay?
Well, if you want to have all them together, we don't have like this big hotel, but still it's a very good thing that most of the hotels are in the city center, so it's okay to have people, for example, in Dniester Hotel, Bank Hotel, 2 hotels which are near, and Grand Hotel as well. So then you can add some more hotels around Lviv. That depends what price do you want. Actually, we have very affordable prices, and how close you want your participants to be.
Everything is clear. So I know where to stay. I know where to host the event. I have 11 educational institutions. So friends and colleagues, where should I speak? So after the panel discussion, I'm going to have a barsh and I'm going to have a good coffee. And later I'm staying for 2-3 days to enjoy myself from the sport activities, cultural activities, and don't know yet what kind of activities. What should I do in Lviv or around?
So we have museums. But some people can say that, well, yeah, museums boring. Still, we have them. They are trying to be better and better. They are trying to be interactive. That's what I like about the city. It's very dynamic. It changes a lot. So one time you can go to, I don't know, to museum and just watch the art, and then you have some interactive things that you can do in the museum, and that's great. Then you can walk. Actually, we are really walkable city, and what I like. So the central part, you can do it like in one day. Walk around the city. Then we have High Castle, one of the highest spots in Lviv, and you can see the panoramic view. And about sport, so we have karting. We have different. We have different workshops in the city, so you can join any and sports activities and some art things to do. What I like workshops.
So the most important is to have some free time sometimes, so we can go there and just have a cup of coffee, or from time to time we can go to the museum or just have fun. We know where to stay, and if we need any support regarding the events, yes, we know there is a Lviv Convention Bureau. I had the pleasure a couple of years ago to meet your ambassadors. So in our industry, in the events industry, it's very popular that we are having the ambassadors program. And as I remember last event where I had the pleasure to speak at, it was at the airport, and you've been giving, this was a ceremony, so you've been awarding the new ambassadors. Can you tell me briefly about the ambassadors program, Lviv ambassadors program?
Mm-hmm. So Lviv Ambassadors Program, that's a program for people who are really great in the work they're doing. They're doctors, they're scientists, they work in the universities, they are bloggers sometimes, they're businessmen, and they promote Lviv. And that's what interests us as a convention bureau, as the city. That's the additional promotion of Lviv. So we're really happy to have them in our program. So right now we have 60 ambassadors. They're great people. I'm so happy to see them active during all these days, during all this time, and they are cooperating. That's the most important things, and people know about them.
And how many of them in total, or how long is the program, and how many of ambassadors do you have?
I think we launched it in 2015, and there are 60 ambassadors now.
60 ambassadors. So if you are somewhere all around the world and you know the Ukrainian person who would like to support only Ukrainian, or if there is an international person who wants to bring the event to Lviv, could become the ambassador of Lviv Convention Bureau?
Not just Lviv Convention Bureau, but also the whole Lviv. Yeah, we do have our foreign ambassadors from Lithuania, from the UK, from the USA, from Poland as well. So yeah, they are supporting as they can.
So there's an ambassador program if we are thinking about association meetings. We have a venue, we have some hotels, we know how to get it. Yes, we know how to get it. The airport. How to fly it, what kind of connections, major airlines, or how you are connected?
We have the airport. It was built in 2012 for the Euro Cup. Football Cup, and right now we have like more than 50 destinations where actually people fly. And the main airlines are Lufthansa, Ukrainian Airlines, Austrian Airlines, Wizz Air, Ryanair. So we are trying to engage more and more airlines to cooperate with us.
And of course, you can always drive in, take a bus or take a train like I did to Lviv, because it's still possible even these days. So speaking about the events, so we have people, we have venue, we have the organization which can support us. Am I right? So briefly, do you have a team? Are you alone? Are you part of the city council? Are you independent? Lviv Convention Bureau.
Yeah, so as Lviv Convention Bureau, we are a part of the city council. We were established by city council, and we work together with our PCOs to invite all the events to Lviv. So how it works? We have our local ambassador or local professor or people who want to invite some associations to Lviv. They're like the events. Then we write a bit, as everyone writes. So people coming, okay, we want to have this event in Lviv. All right, so what do you need? They tell us what they need. Then we write a bit together with them. Then we can write a letter of support from the city mayor or the people, for example, from the ministry, if needed, and then, of course, we pass it to the associations.
You mentioned PCOs, so the professional conference or congress organizers. How many event agencies or PCOs do you have in Lviv cooperating with you?
We have like 5 main PCOs. They are also event organizers, because we don't have like the professional conference organizer, just like the pure ones. It's always mixed with the event organization.
Mm-hmm. And speaking a little bit about incentive travel, because this is briefly a different category, to motivate, to create team building, to build the emotions, and this is what I like the most, to build the experience. So what is the top 2, top 3 experiences in the Lviv, in Ukraine region that we should taste, we should try, speaking about experiences?
If we are talking about incentives, for example, and it should be in Lviv, so there are excursions which actually involve going from one restaurant to another and try different dishes. We also have Galician cuisine, and that's what I like, that people can try something new, like to taste something new. So that's another thing.
2 is enough for me, absolutely. So this was a really lovely story about how Lviv is the meetings and events destination. This was some words from Sofia about how really your meetings could be organized in a lovely place, in Galicia region, in Lviv region, in Ukraine, finally. Unfortunately, at the end of the interview, there are a couple of challenging questions. So, Sofia, so what's the situation now? Because yes, we watch a couple of TVs. Yes, we have the update online. Yes, from time to time we are reading, we are hearing, but you know how it is. It's the most important is to understand. Now I'm here, I can feel the flavor of the city, I see the situation. You are here almost last 2 months helping, supporting. Can you give our audience any update about current situation?
So right now it's war in Ukraine. It's a very difficult time for our country, for our cities. We feel relatively safe in all Ukraine, in Western Ukraine. Of course, more danger is on north, south, and east. But being like relatively safe, we can support the people who are coming to us. We can have humanitarian hubs. We have a lot of volunteers who help establishing all the things that are needed for temporary displaced people. Then they actually decide if they want to stay in Lviv region, or they want to go abroad. So we are a hub for those people until they decide what they want to do later. And of course, everyone in the city is involved. So there's no one who can be somewhere doing their stuff. Everyone is working, everyone is volunteering how they can and support as they can.
You've mentioned it's a war, you've mentioned you're supporting, and you use a quite challenging expression, relatively safe. It's good to know that this part of Ukraine is relatively safe. However, we know exactly the situation. So the people, the Ukrainians from eastern part are moving to the western part, and for those who can, they are moving to the Western Europe, starting from Poland and moving somewhere there. So this is your magic moment to say to all around the world, to the auditorium, couple of words, or your personal message to the events industry world. Use this momentum. We are in Lviv. Have a look into the eyes of the guys in front of the Zoom, YouTube, etc. And floor is yours to summarize this interview. I want to say thank you for giving me the chance to listen to the story, because story is very important, as we know. But if you have like couple of words or bullet points, what is your message as Sofia and as a director of Lviv Convention Bureau to your friends? Because when we meet, we change the world. So
yeah, you're right. We change the world. So dear colleagues, first of all, thank you for support. Thank you for Polish people. Thank you for German people who actually were the first ones to establish some humanitarian hubs in their countries. That's good to know that we have a lot of support from the industry. Thank you, international associations, for helping, for coordinating everything. What I would like to say that please don't have business with Russia during this difficult time for Ukraine, because having business with Russia, you actually finance terrorism, and then it takes longer to win. Ukraine would definitely win, and we want to invite you after our victory to our cities. You can come and see, you can come and help rebuilding the cities. In any way, support will be given, we know that. But like for now, please don't have business with Russia, and urge your governments to support Ukraine now.
Thank you very much, Sofia. This was a quite strong statement. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sofia mentioned that there is a way also to support, but there is another way also to support. So together we created one of the initiatives. Now on your screens you are going to see two different ideas. One idea is in cooperation with hospitality schools in Poland and in cooperation with MPI Foundation, we created together a fund for Ukrainian students to finish hospitality studies. So what we do, we support Ukrainian citizens who are studying at Polish universities to finish their studies. Now you are going to see all of the details on your screens, how you can support and how you can help them to finish the studies. We support our younger colleagues and friends. And secondly, there is another organization and association with this organization, Lviv Convention Bureau, and Sofia are helping and supporting locals, soldiers, and whatever you need. So if you have your credit cards, we are more than welcome to see your support, and hopefully thanks to your support, we will help to shape the future. So Sofia and Lviv are waiting for you. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
And it's a great event and it's great to be here. So stay tuned. 2 more panel discussions are waiting for you with international experts and with the Ukrainian experts. So it's time to watch the movie. It's time to see the association accounts and support. And we are back in a minute. Welcome back after the break. I hope, first of all, you supported the organization that we've been thinking about. Secondly, you have the coffee from Lviv, because this is quite essential message that we just deliver, and Sofia told you that this is something that you should appreciate, and this is something that we should be thinking about. However, as we mentioned together, we have 2 different panels. First of all, we decided to invite international speakers and international guests to speak about events, because Global Meetings Industry Day 2022, Meet Safe, is about events. So let me introduce one more time Sofia Kainska, Director of Lviv Convention Bureau. Keep smiling. Thank you very much. Next to her is Michał Michałowski, KDK Events Senior Partner.
Welcome, everybody.
Dorota Wojtczak, Marketing Director, LiveAge, and member of the board Events Agency Club.
Hello.
And Michał Czerniak, Brilla V-Media CEO, and the gentleman who supported our transmission today. So thank you, Brill, and thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Welcome all.
Ladies and gentlemen, we decided to speak about events. However, the momentum when we meet, so 19th of April and Global Meetings Industry Day, is the momentum that we are talking about peace as well. So the topic of the panel will be events can create peace. However, to speak about peace, we should start from speaking about events. So why we should bring events to Lviv, Sofia? And what kind of events? You have the event agency, you have the AV company here in Lviv, so why they should, more of them, our people from Zoom, Teams, YouTube, and whoever is watching wherever, why we should bring events to Lviv?
Well, first of all, we are a great city. We are an ancient city. We were established at 1256. So we have a lot of things to see in the city, to admire. The second thing, we have great people, always ready to help, always ready to organize something, always ready to help with the content. And we have the support of the city council, so everything is possible in the city. Three main things.
Thank you very much. Let's go deeply into the role of the events. Michał, what is the role of the events in 21st century? Should we meet? Do we like meeting? Because Global Meetings Industry Day, our industry is about meeting. What is your perception about the role of the events?
Do we like meeting? Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, the role of events has evolved a lot in 2021, 2022, 2020. Since COVID, actually, there is a different events starting from 2 years ago and right now. But the most important thing is that during meetings you share some kind of information, and right now we found out that it's so easy to share all those information when we look at Mr. Zelensky, who is participating in different events all around the world and sharing the knowledge. We have the kind of attitude when you have this possibility to reach to the information, and it's very, very quick. So the role of events is, I would say, pretty important, because not only Sofia, you mentioned about Lviv, about conditions of the market over there, and we know that right now it's a place where we have to be very careful about organizing events. But you have this second chance of virtual events where you can share those kind of events like all the time right now. So it's a kind of evolving, and I really appreciate that events are taking a really important part in bringing peace, in sharing the good knowledge. We organize a lot of events when before we used to talk about like chit-chat about weather, about all those unimportant stuff. Right now, when we meet with clients, the first 20 minutes is talking about the Ukraine, about the situation in Ukraine. And on our shoulders, there is this responsibility to share this knowledge, to help out, to spread it out. And events really, really can help right now.
Dorota, as a marketing director of the agency, you're also involved in the creating the events or building the story or creating the experience. According to you, what is the role of the events these days?
I agree with Michał that the role of events has changed over the last decades, I would say, and it's a few years ago or even earlier, it was very important just to meet for many reasons, but just to organize meetings. I think now, and especially after the COVID situation, it is very important to analyze events as part of the marketing communications of the brand. And it's very important to integrate it, because as we evolve to the digital sphere and brands simply have many activities in digital, it is very important to use the same language, to just implement events in the whole strategy of the company. And I think from this point of view, it's no matter if you organize events online, offline, hybrids, anyways, it is very important to use this channel to build contact, to build relations between the brands and your consumers. And as we faced over the last few months, it showed out to be really important for the brands and for the consumers themselves. Because the brands that didn't in fact, use events and didn't communicate much during the over the last few months, simply lost in the eyes of their consumers.
Exactly. But the new way of the event is the hybrid event. I just tell you one joke, everyone all around the world. Before we started this panel, another mic told us, remember, look into the camera, don't speak to other guys, because camera is the new king. And I remember a couple of years ago when the first meetings all around the world, they were online. Online will be the new event. And everyone was not sure because how to drink coffee online, etc. Later, a lovely story about the COVID. We will not go back. We will not speak about COVID today. And suddenly, 21st century, 2022, even before war, there was a global decision. Hybrid event is a new event. So, Michał, tell me, how to change all of this venue? In the interview today, at the beginning, I spoke to Sofia, and she mentioned, I have this kind of museum, I have this kind. Suddenly, all these guys, event agency, from New York, from Lviv, from Warsaw, calling you and saying, by the way, can you organize the hybrid event? So what is the role of the event, and what is the role of the hybrid event, because you are the cable guru?
Thank you for calling me this. Yeah, I'm a cable guy. It's a great tool. It's a great tool to have the option to do the hybrid event, to invite the guests that we're not normally able to invite for the speech, to invite attendees from all over the world, for some of them who cannot travel. But it's not something that will substitute the regular event. So if I want to go to Lviv and see these wonderful places that you mentioned, to see the museum, I cannot do it online. We used to have those tools. Yeah, you can do the 3D visualization, you can do that, but that's not the experience that I will have going there myself. So I don't believe that anytime hybrid or online events will substitute the face-to-face meetings. And I'm sure of this, and this is our role, to be able to provide the option to do that remotely, but that's it, and it will stay with us. But face-to-face events will stay with us even longer, forever.
Face-to-face is so important for us. That's why we decided to support our friends and Sofia in Lviv and speak about this. So, question now to another Michał. Why events are so important in bringing people together? So, last 2 years we spent in front of the lovely tools. I've been in touch with Sofia last 3 months. Everything was okay. So why should I bring people for an event if I have Zoom, Teams, Telegram, WhatsApp, etc.? Why?
Because people like to choose, because people, it's not only that we should say that virtual or hybrid will simply give us like 100% experience and that's it. People would like to sometimes choose one formula over the other. You know, we spent the last 2 years being closed, and for a moment starting this year, we had this opportunity that maybe this is going to be the first full year where clients could choose between hybrid, on-site, off-site, and the decision will be based not only because of some kind of restrictions, but because of the efficiency itself, yeah? Because we understand right now, after 2 years, that some events work in online, some in offline, some in hybrid. But due to some restrictions, sometimes we had to do like incentives in online. We know that incentives in online, it's not the kind of experience that we would like to have. We would like to go to Lviv, we would like to experience all those wonderful places, as Michał said, but not necessarily we would like to have the virtual event about something about Lviv or whatever, because it's not going to be that efficient anymore. So I would say that being able to choose between formulas is something important, and I'm really happy that those kind of on-site events are back, and that we can show our clients which formula is better and when to choose which one. So yeah, that's mostly it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, now you have the answer. However, we are going back to Dorota with the same question because as a member of the board event agency club, you have the pleasure to cooperate with different agencies, top agencies in Poland, and really, events are so important. We have the Global Industry Day, we have the destination, but why events are so important, especially these days?
I think it's not the question to the event agencies themselves, it's the question to the brands themselves. Because last years showed us that no matter how much we try to bring everything we do online, it's also important to meet face-to-face. It's very important, especially in building new contacts, in building new deals, new relations, and it's as much important as other ways, simply. So if we cannot do events, we are just out of one of the ways to reaching our clients. And that's why it is very important. Just like you said, Michał, about hybrid events. What is so important in hybrid events? I think it's the fact that consumers have the way to choose. And if you organize hybrid event, whoever wants to meet face-to-face can have this opportunity. But there are other people who, I don't know, don't like it or maybe cannot come in this time, and they will join online. So this is a great power to use this tool, hybrid events and any other kind of events.
The great power, the word power and the word choose. So we are going back to Sofia because power, choose, directly we go to peace. How can events bring the peace? Before I'm going to ask other panelists, Sofia, I think you are the most powerful superwoman to tell us today about this. So why and how events can bring peace in your part of the world and all around the world?
Yeah, I was thinking about this question even now. What I like about different cooperations, exchanges, like back to student times, we actually learn about other cultures, we learn about stereotypes, we learn about people, and it's really important to accept people for who they are and understand why you have differences, but what is most importantly, understand why are you together, what is common between people, and why people actually communicate. Why should be peace, not war, for example. So, yeah, if you meet, you just learn more, you know more, you actually open your eyes and have the opportunity to make peace.
Open your eyes, learn more, listen, communicate. How can events bring the peace, Michał? How can hybrid events bring the peace?
I think, yeah, this is exactly what you said. Open your eyes, meet people. But what's important for me, you have the personal connection. You have the personal attention to the person. So why we in Poland are affected that much with the situation in Ukraine, with the war in Ukraine, is that we all have friends, we all have faces that we see of people who we work with. We have colleagues who are working with us. We have our colleagues' families who are from Ukraine. So that's the reason why we feel so much close to you in this situation. So when I'm meeting people personally, I have friends from our industry, from AV Alliance that we're part of. So if there's a storm in Florida, I'm calling my friend Wilson and saying, how are you? How is your family? If there's COVID situation, which was really badly affecting India, I'm calling Zaiki, and I know him personally. So that's why I think that events are that important, because we're not being someone in the world. There's not somewhere in the world happening something. That's something happening back to my friends, to the people that I know personally. So that's why I think it's that important that we bring awareness and we bring personal face to people who are suffering, not only numbers.
Thank you very much, Michał. Dorota, how can events bring the peace?
There's one more perspective, I believe. Thomas Kostler, a Dutch expert in marketing, in his book Good Advertising, says that there are 4 ways brands can react to difficult or dangerous situation. The first thing is silence, and this is what we had in the COVID outreach and now also. The second one is say something, then it's do something, and then it's engage people. And I think during events, there is this specific situation when you can really engage people, because you have them here and now, listening to you. You have their attention, no matter if it's online or offline. It's much longer touch point, in fact, than, for example, during advertisement. Then you have really the power to engage other people to do something good, for example. And I believe here is the special role of event marketing, where they can really help in difficult times, in difficult situations. Because, I think it's the most important thing, because the other thing is, of course, that people who work in event industry are great organizers and have their natural power to help, and that's also something that we've seen during the last weeks and now also. But it's something we don't need to speak about. It's just there in those people. But the specific role of events in marketing, I believe, is in engaging other people to do something good, really.
Thank you very much, Dorota. Michał, peace, events?
Yeah, I actually totally agree. It's, during event, people gather, and they gather with some kind of aim. And this is like, they're similar, they're familiar with some kind of stuff. So it's much easier to plant some kind of idea. It's much, it's very efficient. It's an easy way if you want to share some kind of information with them. It's much easier in comparison to using different other channels where you actually during event have this specific people who came exactly to hear what you are speaking about. And this is, I would say, very important. But, bringing peace with events, you can analyze on so many different levels. I mean, for instance, we are involved in one initiative, the great initiative from Roma Theatre, who decided to put up some kind of concert when they bring the orchestra from Lviv, actually. The thing is that it's a really powerful story, because the whole concert is done by only ladies, because men are not allowed to go out of Ukraine. So you have the huge theater stage with empty chairs of men who were supposed to be sitting there and playing as well. And the whole revenue is dedicated to the UNICEF, who supports the Ukraine themselves. But the event market has generated so many great initiatives, ideas over the last six weeks. The way that the whole industry is supporting Ukraine is amazing. So we know that we have this tool, and we just need to use it. So yeah, let's go for it.
We used to have a concert in Lviv. We used to have amazing opera theaters in Kiev, and we used to have lovely memories even from the Odessa. These are the stories that Poles have, and these are the stories that every single day we have here in this part of the world. However, yes, we are still alive here, and we are working in the events industry, and the Lviv Convention Bureau are doing the great job. So just to summarize, I want to say that the panelists, they've been speaking about bringing the peace and how events are important. Legacy, yes, in a minute you are going to see on the screen how to support Sofia and how to support Lviv and how to support Ukrainian citizens. So thank you very much one more time. I would like to say thanks to Michał Michałowski, Dorota Wojtczak, and finally to Michał Czerniak. Thank you, Michał, for the support of the making this happen, thanks to Brilafo Media. And to Sofia will be back in a minute with her guests to speak about Lviv these days. So stay tuned, have a look, take new coffee, and in a minute we are going to be back with a panel with Lviv experts and Lviv event professionals here back on the stage before we summarize the Global Meetings Industry Day, Ukraine 2022, Meet Safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, world. I am Ukraine. I wanted to tell you about myself so we could get to know each other better. On a warm summer day on August 24th, 1991, I was born. I'm only 30, but my roots are strong, extending deep into history. My ancestors were wise and brave and instilled in me a rich culture that shaped who I am. I have my own language, my own traditions, my own cuisine. I have seas and meadows, rivers, deserts, fields, and forests. I am a beautiful woman. And my children are strong, brave, talented, smart, witty, creative, friendly, and free in spirit. I am proud of them, just as every mother is proud of her children. Proud of their inventions, their achievements, their creativity, and their diligence. Yes, I have more than 40 million of them, and like in every large family, they did not always find a common language, but our happy moments always outweighed the bad. All my years have cultivated in them a love for freedom and a desire to be free. But now, war has fallen on my family. Forces are trying to destroy me and my children's freedom, to crush it forever. As in past generations, we faced severe trials. Dark times have fallen upon us again. And my children are forced to protect us, their homes and their families, which they do skillfully despite the difficulties, because we are a real family, united together, supporting each other with our bravery and strength. Today, we fight, but we're not afraid. That's not how we were raised. We will stand, I know it. My wounds will heal, and my children will live peaceful lives once more. My name is Ukraine, and I thank you, world, for your support. We will persevere, and when this is all behind us, I'll invite you for a visit. See you soon.
Welcome back. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for all the support that we get from the world. In the first panel, we were talking about peace and how events can make peace. Now it's the time for the second part. That's why we actually changed the background. Ukraine Media Center, that's one of the places where actually our communication is going on. So if we talk about all the support, we talk about all the demonstrations in the world, we also talk about our colleagues who give us the opportunity to talk. So first of all, I want to thank you, Gorast Chat and Conventa Trendbar, because that was actually the start of our media coverage of what is going on in our country and in our city. Thank you so much. And we also want to remind you about the two initiatives that we've started. The first one is MPI Foundation that you can donate to give money, to give donations to the students of international universities in Poland. And the second one is well, actually, it was decided not so long time ago to Scouts organization Plus. That's one of the oldest organizations in Ukraine. It actually celebrated 110 years on 12th of April, and our members of Convention Bureau are the part of this great organization. So all the information about donations you will find on our social media. Please stay tuned. Lviv was always a European city. We are on UNESCO site heritage list. We also have great infrastructure. We have great architecture. We have great facilities for conference industry as well. So Lviv has more than 1,500 cafes and restaurants, 144 hotels, and we also have 110 different conference venues where you can have your event. Our railway station has the facilities to host more than 4,000 people at a time, and we also have the airport in Lviv, so you can freely come to us. We have more than 54 destinations and 20 airlines are operating in Lviv. Our convention bureau actually started to hold the statistics of all the events that we have, and in 2021, even during the COVID times, we had more than 700 conferences here that were actually hybrid, offline, and we didn't count here the online events. Our convention bureau was working on the bids, was working on the communication with our international partners. We were visiting the educational conferences, the educational trainings, and we did everything to promote Lviv on the world arena. Last year, we launched the support package for the conferences that wanted to have their events in Lviv. That's why 37 conferences got the financing for their events, and that was great. We also have the program Lviv Honorary Ambassadors. Right now we have 60 ambassadors, and later you will have a chance to hear one of them. Everything changed after 24th of February when Russia attacked Ukraine. Now Lviv has another mission. So Lviv became the hub for internally displaced people. More than 297,000 people were actually in Lviv. Then they decide where they want to go or they want to stay in Lviv. So that's one of our greatest missions. Lviv also became the center for humanitarian hub. So all that we get from Europe, from the world, is actually Lviv is the first point where it goes. Then it is spread along all Ukraine and all the points that need help. It's also the biggest volunteer hub because when the war started, everyone from east, north, and south of Ukraine came to Lviv. So that's another our mission. It is also the meeting point for international press, where I'm standing. That's Ukraine Media Center, where all the journalists from all over the world. It was more than 1,800 journalists who came to Lviv, and then they wanted to go to Odessa, to Kyiv, and other hotspots. And it's also the place for the business relocation, because a lot of businesses came to Lviv after the war broke. And the place for meeting diplomacy, because every day we have international partners, international diplomats in Lviv and Lviv region. Lviv is preparing for fight because we don't know what are the plans of Russian soldiers. We are trying to do our best to get more attention to our territory defense, their needs, and the supplies that should be here in Lviv, in Ukraine. So you see, everything has changed. Everything has changed for each person in Ukraine. And our event organizers actually do everything that they can to support all our activities that we do here, so Ukraine has a quick victory. The event organizers now have new mission that is transformed. Of course, they will not go with the festivals right now. They will not organize some new meetings, but they have their special mission and their special purpose to do that. So right now I'm inviting you to talk with our event organizers, our PCOs, our catering companies, and get more information from them.
During all this time, our meeting industry is using their power, their knowledge to help Ukrainians survive this war. So let me introduce you Denys Rensky, the founder of Event Industry Forum and the event director of Embassy Resort, the head of the agency Global Events. Yulia Stefanuk, managing director of Just Living and Fast Catering, and Inna Glab, the founder of event agency Soviet Contact. So let's start from Denys. Denys is the second month in a row that we have war in Ukraine, and the normal life stopped just before Event Industry Forum on 24th of February. All the eventers who were to come to Lviv, so how did they meet the war? How did you meet the war? How was the cancellation of the forum accepted? And what about the contracts that were signed? What happened?
Thank you for inviting me. Of course, the forum, it could be a 5th anniversary forum. We had a plan to celebrate the 5 years of the biggest event community. We thought that it had to be a big celebration. And it was stopped before one day before the war, as we know. Of course, everything was ready: stages, screens, lights, meals, accommodation of actually some part of speakers. They were in Lviv, and they called me in the early morning in 5 a.m. and asked, do we stop the forum or maybe we had to continue? Of course, it was cancelled, and we lost I think about 2 million hryvnias in this day. But it's a big. I appreciate the position of the big amount of our partners, visitors, and lots of friends. They said, "Don't worry. Of course, we will start again. Forget about the money." And after the day, for the next day, we are thinking about other things. Absolutely. So I believe that the Event Industry Forum is not cancelled. We will make it when all this thing, all the war, all our situation will finish. So today, I think the forum, it's not a problem because lots of eventers, they are volunteers. Somebody, of course, had to leave because of the horror, because they were shocked. They left their houses in east of Ukraine. But we are in contact with everybody, and minimum 50 persons are here in Lviv, and we are working as volunteers together. So this is like a new step of our event life. That's it.
Thank you for this answer. From the first days of war, you and your team actually became volunteers at the railway station, and usually there were like 4,000 passengers a day at the railway station. But it's the exceptional thing that during all those first days there were more than 20,000 people. No infrastructure was actually made for this because nobody expected this to happen. And how did you manage to organize the logistics at the railway station? Because people are despaired,
People are horrified, panicked. So how was it?
I came to the railway station the 28th of February. I thought that the eventer skills can be powerful on this location. So I started to think where the biggest problem is. And I saw the news about the railway station. Actually, it was not 20,000. It was about between 40 and 60,000 people per day. And I came there and started to catch the people, everybody I know, to send lots of publication in Facebook that we need this, we need that. As everybody doing it every day using social media, and we organized some kind of a volunteers headquarters there, and we managed first of all the cleaning, because it was a terrible situation because of the huge amount of people. The security, working with rooms of rest. We made 2 moms and kids room. We organized the information desk. We organized together with city government and regional government some kind of a bus station to deliver people to the border. And I've started to organize meals for people, and we have been doing all these procedures about maybe 25 to 30 days, and after that the traffic became a little bit low, and after that we organize volunteers cafe and humanitarian aid storage, like a big depot there. We have about 1,400 volunteers in a base. Now we have the people are working 8 hours a day, and of course we keep doing this thing, because now we have about maybe 50,000 people which are coming. And these people which are coming today, they are maximum. They have maximum problems because they were been for the long time in the Mariupol, Kharkiv, other bombed cities, and they need help. I have to mention about medical and psychological help. Our communication with the doctors there. So it lasts right now, and of course we will manage all these things till the end of the war.
Thank you. And what about the lines at the beginning, like the lines to the trains?
There were 3 lines in the tunnels. People were coming to the station, and there was only one question: where is the border and where is the Poland? That's it. There were with young kids, there were with disabled people, and we had to help them to come to the evacuation train or to use the bus. It was a terrible situation. It was hard to see every day. The first 3 days we didn't sleep because it was the early start of all procedures there. So it was the main decision to come there, I think, because the railway station was the first point to communicate with refugees.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. You've mentioned the humanitarian aid, and you have already managed to send the first 10 loads of the for the places where all the stuff is needed. So what do you gather, and in what areas do you work? What challenges do your volunteers have?
Now, we work with our partners in 7 cities. They are event agencies, the people who are there. We trust them. It's the main thing, to trust the people you're working with about the humanitarian aid. We collected the partners. They take requests from shelters, from army, from anybody else. We analyze the request, what exactly they need, why so many things they need, how they can give it to somebody there. And after that we can confirm or not this request, organize the stuff here and put it in the train, follow the train with the volunteer and give it strictly to our partners in, for example, Kharkiv, Kramatorsk. I'm not sure that we are working with Kramatorsk right now. Kiev, Odessa, Dnipro, and I think Lozova, something like that. And after this point, they deliver aid for needed place. That's it. We what do we send there? Of course, meals, hygiene things, meals for kids, the hygiene things for kids, and the medicine. That's it. We don't work with any military things because we don't understand this. We're trying every day. We're trying to find the humanitarian aid. It's not so easy to do it right now because the traffic of humanitarian aid is low right now from the Europe. So this is the main, and it's a problem for us right now.
Okay. And on your social media, you mentioned the Volunteer 100.
Yes.
So how did you how did you start this idea? Who are involved?
We had to be official. I think that there are thousands of volunteers. Everybody uses this jacket. Where are you from? What organization are you from? It's not good because actually on a railway station, it was, I think, about 10 several organizations, and it hard to work with the refugees, with people when any volunteer doing what he wants. We don't know where he comes from, and it's not good to communicate. So we decided to make an organization. So it was hard because the register won't work for, I think, 1 month in our country. But after that, we organized the Volunteers 100, a non-profit organization, and now we work with about, I think, 300 volunteers there. And we make 3 things. We manage railway station. We manage volunteers cafe inside, and we manage humanitarian aid storage. That's it.
That's nice. Thank you. What about, like, dozens of people are coming to Lviv and their emotions, your emotions, broken lives. How do you manage to deal with your own emotions in this situation?
During first days, it was hard, of course, because it was a new emotion for everybody. But we have to know that eventer skills are the same: to kill emotions, to work with maximum functions in one shot. So it was not so difficult to stand with it. And now we are all in a procedure, and we don't feel any emotions. We just work. That's it.
Yeah, that's. I think that's a good skill for the inventor. So we are now on the so-called second phase of the war, and morally and physically everyone is very exhausted. So at the same time there is a common sense that Russia is not going to stop, and we have weeks of struggle ahead of us. Where do you get your strength and energy from?
I do believe that the war will finish as soon as possible, and it will be our biggest victory. I want to come back to events, so my energy is there. I have a strong team, a new team with volunteers, and the old team from eventers, from my friends. I have my family, of course, and all these points give me energy, and spring also, I think. I do believe that it will finish before the summer, because the summer and the war, it's not good for me.
Yeah, let's hope for that,
Yes.
that it will end as soon as possible. Thank you, Denis,
Thank you.
very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's go to Yulia. So today the catering company you run has become a real symbol of charity. You reached the first record. So every day your staff of volunteers prepare like approximately 30,000 of portions of food. And there's a lot of work to do, to find products, to cook, to organize and deliver. And of course you have the experience of huge events, but that's the very exceptional thing that you have to go here and there. So how do you organize your work, the team, the processes?
We're talking not only about catering, it's like a part of our big holding of fest. Generally we have 20 restaurants which was closed the first day of the war, and we have a lot of products, a lot of food, and we decided just from the first day to feed people. We understand that a lot of volunteers, also territorial defense and refugees which comes to Lviv need a hot meal, and we start from 500 person per day, and then this needs increase, and we work on have to do more and more. Really, yesterday we crossed the line of 1 million portion for this period. It's a huge amount. And we use not only one kitchen, we use 10 kitchens of our company, and still some of them start working, some of them still close, and at approximately 500 person, it's what is also very important, had work from the first days of the war. Usually, certainly we start from our by our power, our food, our volunteers, and then we got good partner, World Central Kitchen, which help us to provide all these meals, and they help us financially and help some with equipment also, and we will feed people till the end of this war, and hope it will be as soon as possible.
You mentioned Central Kitchen, World Central Kitchen. So how did you manage to? Did they got in contact with you, or you found them? Tell us about this.
It's all about social media. Yes, they just write in Instagram. They need some partners, and we connect with them. And start to work without any contracts for 10 days, and then make all official things, because it's always about our possibilities and their needs to feed people. We come together and understand we could help each other.
Yeah. So we didn't mention before, but Emily Resort, actually, where Denis also works with World Central Kitchen, and I think that's just amazing. You're feeding people on different spots. So how do you manage the delivery? How do you know that people need the food, for example, at the railway station or at some shelters? Do you have contacts with other volunteers who give you the information?
COVID time gave us possibility and experience to organize very fast delivering. We have also food mission project in the COVID time, and we reopen it. We have call center who just calling to different places, shelters addresses. We'll run to each of them and finding what they need, what kind of food, because somebody is like in some shelters there's only children stay, women with children stays, and in others seniors, old people, and we create such a big map in our office, and now we provide food for 64 shelters, and also to railway station, and some part of meal we produce for territorial defense.
Mm-hmm. And for all this feeding, you need like a lot of money to buy food. How do you get the funds, and also to pay people who are working on this?
All this process is not profit, and we just need money to pay people and find how to buy food. Sure, the most part of this covered by World Central Kitchen, and also our company donates and to this process.
So the same question as to Denise. So it's really emotionally difficult. So now we got used to this, but still, how do you manage your emotions and the emotions of the people you're working with?
I think that all these results and this feeling that we really need for the refugees, for people who got hot meal and feel themselves like at home. And when I bring this food and see this open eyes and how they are thankful to us, give a big energy. Also, we don't stop in this position. Now we provide a lot of food to different regions. Together with World Central Kitchen, we help to organize all traffic with trucks and trains to different cities in Ukraine, and these contacts. And I think that everybody should fight in their place, and we call it like food fighters now, our team, and it's very important in this situation, and I hope it will help to our victory will come as very, 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 very fast.
Thank you. And I have one more question to Denise and Julia. So as you both of you are working with World Central Kitchen, do you cooperate somehow?
Cooperation of a railway station regarding the meals started between railway station and Julia. Because they were helping the moms and kids rooms and the rooms of rest by their own food. It was started with cooperation with them. After that, I think the one more partner started to deliver meals. I think it was a restaurant, I'm not sure. And after that, we started to work with the Emily Resort, the place where I'm working, because, of course, I made a trial to connect the Emily Resort in this program, and I think it was the last partner for World Central Kitchen in Lviv. I think so. Now we are making, I think, about 3,000 portions a day. We work with railway station also, with some shelters in the region, with checkpoints, I think, some schools where refugees are living. That's it. So the big thanks to Yulia and to Fast Catering, because they were started giving meals to all this big amount of people.
Yeah, so the industry is united. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Yulia. We also have Inna here. So even before the war, you organized the events, and you actually organized the event how to organize events. So where did the war catch you, and how did your company rebuild the work during the war?
Thank you for inviting me. I am co-owner event agency So Good Company. We organize gastronomic festival in Lviv since 2016. It's a street food festival, Lviv ice cream festival, Lviv art and wine festival. In 2020, our event industry suffered due to COVID epidemic. And in 2021 we began to work and to begin develop our industry. And we have a big plan in 2022, and in January we prepare for our active spring and summer season. Our company had already booked location, booked the dates of our festival, and also we have contracts with our client to be organized some events for them. Also, we have a plan to increase the money for event equipment, because our company also deal with technical support to event. In January also we start to make small events for our team, how to organize event. Also we decided to take part in event industry forum organized by Denis Rensky, but the war is started and changed our plan. And war caught us on February 24. In that day we prepared for mount our exhibition construction stand in industry forum, but don't do it. The first day of war were hardest. We don't know what to do, because we don't have experiences of war. We don't know what to do. But at the third day of war, we start volunteering. It was a different work. We deliver products and necessary things to a border to Poland. We give our equipment, event equipment in different volunteer points. We also, some member of our team go to volunteers points and sort of humanitarian aid. So we make different works.
And from the first days of war, there was again this flow of people at the train station. So we know that Denis and his team did a great, titanic work with this. Did you help somehow?
We make a part of navigation. We saw that there is no navigation in the railway station. I understand that there is many work, and we have a graphic designer and PR manager who can make it, translate the text into English. We gathered all information about important things in railway station, and make some images, and also we have construction for navigation, which we use in our festival. So we decided to use it in the railway station. Also, we reused some materials from our festival and print a new navigation for the station.
And also they gave us 2 tents two tents for Platform 5, evacuation Platform 5, to make a small shelter when people are waiting for the train with kids, and it was very necessary there to make a hot unit inside and to wait for the train. And now, of course, we removed the Platform 5, and it was very good cooperation, because it was too cold and people were staying in the tunnel for, I think, 7-8 hours. They needed meals and they needed to get warm. That's it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Again, the united industry, even at this hard times. You have published the announcement of the motivational event for women during this time. Actually, it was the beginning of April. And it was online, of course. So was there a demand in this event? And what topics were covered? What did you talk about?
Yes, this event called Project Women. It's a seminar for women for their self-development. I'm a member of PLAST. It's a national scouting organization, and this event we organize in PLAST with my PLAST friends twice a year, in spring and autumn. The next event we must organize in April 2022. We had already booked the location, had a program, and we just prepared for advertising in March 2022, but the war is began and changed our plan, and we have a meeting with my team and decided to change this event. We changed the this event to online, and decided to have one lecture in a day. And we have two reasons why we make this event. One, it was our idea to make some atmosphere for a woman where they can take some practical knowledge relevant to wartime, and also we want to gather money for necessary things to armed forces of Ukraine. And we organized this event. The topics of this event was relationship between mother and child during the war, how not to lose yourself during the war, individual first aid kit, coping with stress, and how to find your superpower and make a benefit from Ukraine. About 120 participants take part in our event from 10 countries. It was a Ukrainian women, but they now are in Poland, USA, you know. And also we gathered the money and sent it to make 20 unloading for the military.
That's nice. As the event agency who organizes festival, you also, I saw this on your social media, you work with your Polish, I think, partners, and you got the dishes, like not the one-time use dishes, but the dishes you can use more times. So how did you manage this cooperation? Why did you choose this?
Mm-hmm. Before the war, we agreed to produce reused cup for our festival with our Polish colleagues. And when the war started, they write us how we can help you. And we saw that there are a big problem at the first day of war for a dish in different point, like a railway station or in different shelters, and they give us like a humanitarian aid a lot of this dish. We have a small stock in the city of center, and from that place distribute it to necessary point.
Thank you. And the last question. We all believe that the war will end soon. So, what is the first festival you will organize with your team, and why? how it will be called?
We also wait for our victory, and we really want to organize our famous festival, street food, because it's a festival like a place for meet your friends. And we know that after our victory, all of us want to meet our friends, to hug them. So it's our dream to organize this festival. And for temps, I think that the times of our festivals will be something in Ukrainian culture, like it.
Thank you. Thank you, our people who watch us. Thank you, the panelists. You're doing a great job. We are trying to promote Ukraine, Lviv, as much as possible on our international arena. That's why we actually organized this event. So, ladies and gentlemen, Denis Reinsky, founder of Event Industry Forum, the event director of Emily Resort, head of agency Global Events, Yulia Stefanyuk, managing partner Just Leave It and Fest Catering, and Inna Klap, the founder of So Good Company. Thank you for being with us. And yeah, see you at the volunteering points and our celebrating our victory. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our local community is working really hard to make everything happen, to make Ukrainian victory quicker and more effective. That's why we are really grateful to the international associations and organizations who already suspended or canceled business with Russia. Thank you so much. Thank you to our professional organizations like ICA or ECM for suspending Russian members and making more peaceful environment for your Ukrainian members. That is very important for us, that our local community is actively involved in all the processes during the war. So today we will talk with our Lviv honorary ambassador, Andrei Bazilevich, who is actually actively involved in all the medical stuff. So we will talk more.
Good afternoon, Mr. Andrei. You're one of the initiators who, in fact, are currently working in medical directions, and you are the president of the World Federation of Ukrainian Medical Associations. So how do you work with partners? We know that many cargoes with medical equipment and medicines have also come to Lviv. So how does this idea come up, and who is involved in all the processes? Well, we have many different directions. One of the main ones is to help with various medical equipment, medical means, and means that save our fighters. And this idea arose in the leadership of the World Federation of Ukrainian Medical Associations. The association is an organization that brings together 10 million doctors from all over the world. Also, such organizations as the European Forum of Medical Associations joined, and the Standing Committee of European Doctors. And this organization has established a Ukrainian fund to help Ukraine and has begun to raise funds. To date, they have already raised about 2 million euros. And this money has gradually been distributed and spent for the following things. It was to purchase the first aid kits that we needed to protect the fighters. This is a large number of turnstiles that we have now needed in order to provide for our military and can be used in any situation. They have the opportunity to stop the bleeding, to have given the opportunities to save lives. Also, this cargo contained a large number of antibiotics, strong drugs, homeostatic, painkillers, and they were also admitted to the Lviv city territorial hospitals and then distributed among all other hospitals in Lviv. The third direction of this cargo contained mannequins that help us to master the skills and teach our skills to the fighters of the doctors who are on the battlefield, so that they can effectively work out these skills to provide assistance. If we talk about this cargo, that it was covered, the first cargo was $620,000. The next one is being prepared, and it has been quite logistically planned so that the Israeli Medical Society has taken on this mission of logistics and shipment, because by this time in Europe, there was no possibility to buy these turnstiles and first aid kits. The Israeli Medical Society flew a plane to Warsaw with the cargo, and then it came to Lviv. Even this shipment was accompanied by the past president of the World Medical Association, as well as the president of the Israeli Doctor Society, who was from 2007 till 2018, Professor Leonid Edelman. He himself came to Lviv. He had a meeting with the head of the Lviv Oblast military administration and had a meeting with the mayor, Andriy Sadovy. And these are the same as it was on the second day, that the airstrikes in Lviv, and thereby showed that the physicians should help physicians and not be afraid of the challenges that we have, because together we can do something and together help each other. Thank you for this answer. You mentioned mannequins about the first aid courses. We also saw some information on your Facebook. Tell us about those who organize courses. Who came up with this idea? In fact, there are more than 5 teams in Lviv, even whole instructor groups, instructor teams who conduct training in several groups. It was to help directly to the needy and those who want to master this knowledge. The civilian population. This was carried out in 2 places. It's in the Warriors' House at Korolenko Street, and there was 3 teams of instructors who worked. This is an emergency medical team of the Lviv region. It is in the team of the Medical College of Postgraduate Education, and this is the Red Cross team. They are the first, in fact, this decision was made before the war to start preparing, and in fact from the second day, these training sessions were already held. Then the Lviv Medical Academy joined this initiative. A medical college named after Andrei Kupinsky also provided training to civilians and the territory defense. Our team is the team of the Lviv National Medical University and the World Federation of Ukrainian Medical Associations. They formed a separate team that has trained medical staff, physicians, students, and as well as interns. That is, we took a slightly higher level of training. We followed the principle of providing tactical casualty combat assistance, known as TCCC, which can and should be done by a medical worker on the battlefield or a paramedic and military paramedics. So we took this course little bit higher. And one more team is made up of doctors from Lviv National Medical University who prepare. They go to the military objects, to territorial defense fighters, and train them at their place. That is such a whole system, as well as there is many other volunteer centres that teach not only in Lviv, but also in the Lviv region, where emergency medical workers teach the necessary knowledge and skills. And what is important is the practical training, and everybody must independently, with his own hands, stop the bleeding, turn patients, clothes with a warm blanket so that there is no hypothermia. The processes are worked on tactical trainings. Thanks for your answer, because this is an extremely important part of what is happening. Because first aid provided on time saves lives. You are a member of the international organisations. You are a member of many international organisations and associations. So how did your international colleagues react that we have a war in Ukraine? Since the early days, the world medical community, the Standing Committee of European Doctors, as well as the European Forum, expressed their letters of support. So they condemned the aggressor and they expressed support for Ukraine to the Ukrainian doctors in a difficult situation. It was a political and important mission. Some organizations even excluded from the ranks of their associations Belarus and Russia, because they were aware that the Russian aggressors is not only Putin, it is also the society in which, let's say, he was raised, the game of his creation, but also the society of Russian and Belarusian. But also the Russian and Belarusian societies. They make it possible for the dictators to do what they do. It was very important when associations suspended or excluded Russia and Belarusian associations from their activities and vice versa, but they gave more preferences to Ukrainian associations and gave them the opportunity to pass trainings for free and founded opportunities and conduct and be participants for free of charge at conferences and provided them an opportunity to build their own platforms in order to make a difference so that they can show their situation is in Ukraine. Thank you. This is also our information battlefield, and it is very important and such a diplomatic one. I would even say that condemnation and exclusion are the direct sanctions against those doctors and of those members of scientific organizations who do nothing, with whom silent agreement or even support these events that are happening in Ukraine. Yes, I agree with you. The World Federation of Ukrainian Medical Associations and European Forum of Medical Associations help Ukraine a lot. In fact, you said there was $1 million worth of medicines. So where do these medicines get directed to in addition to the course? So the medicines, such as powerful, strong drugs, go directly to the hospital. It was necessary to have their own temperature regime, from 20 to 50 degrees, and they weren't necessary at once. They were here faster than the rest of the medicine. They were distributed and they are available to all medical institutions in the Lviv region.
Інший вантаж поступав на склади Львівської обласної військової адміністрації, і там
Lviv Oblast received other cargo at the warehouses of the Lviv Oblast military administration, and there it was distributed to anyone who needed it from all over Ukraine. That is the warehouse that has its own logistics and distributed where needed for military administrations of other regions, or for the needs of volunteers, or for the needs of hospitals.
Перші допомоги фактично зразу пішли на передову, зразу пішли на воєнізовані об'єднання Львівщини, тому що вони були в першу чергу необхідні. І ці речі дійсно зразу рятували наших бійців.
That is great. And what other needs are not met? What else is important? This number was not enough. We have formed the following needs. These are turnstiles again, hemostatic tourniquets again. These are first aid kits of a soldier, the first aid kits of a sanitary instructor or a paramedic. That is what a military paramedic must have with him or her to save their colleagues. This is what a military paramedic must have with them to save their colleagues. 15 to 20 people. It also remains necessary due to the risk of chemical attack that these are the antidotes. First of all, it is an attribute. These centres are still lacking. And now, due to the large number of patients with traumatic injuries, these are not enough tools for traumatic operations. For trepanation of the skull, for vascular operations. These are necessary not only the medications but also the tools. Without it, we cannot provide quality, qualified and prompt care to patients. Thank you. I hope our event organisers heard that. There may be some additional help. I would like to say that there is another direction. We are now providing assistance to our patients from international organisations and clinics. They offered our patients treatment and rehabilitation, both to soldiers and civilians. We are establishing communication so that, on the one hand, we can quickly find patients who need it, who meet the capabilities of clinics. On the other hand, to those clinics that are willing to take such patients, as well as logistics, transportation of these patients. It is an aid in difficult clinical situations, especially rehabilitation. Now, the Birmingham clinic has offered to rehabilitate up to 100 patients. We are preparing to send the first 10 patients to them. We also have a colleague in the United States who often helped us and came to Ukraine. This is Gennady Fazilo. He has now admitted the first patient. This is a military man after an injury. And so many countries, the Austrian clinic, which is ready to accept at the expense of the Vienna City Hall. I can't name them all. There are really a lot of them. This direction is very important. Another area is the opportunity to treat us with the help of our colleagues. The American company that has provided free virtual reality devices that allow the doctors to show the patient who works with the patient he does. The American company has provided free virtual reality devices that allow the doctor to show the patient who works with the patient what he does and how he does it. He can communicate with his colleagues in real time and suggest or discuss a situation. Colleagues see through the eyes of the surgeon everything that the surgeon does. At first, there were 4 such devices. The first 2 weeks, they were used in the emergency hospital in Lviv. Currently, another 35 such devices are distributed throughout Ukraine. It is already in Odessa, Mykolaiv, and Kyiv. These devices help to heal better. I would also like to say that we are grateful to our colleagues who have set up field hospitals. In Lviv, they have been treated by an American team of doctors. In the Lviv region, in Mostiska, there is an Israeli field hospital, which has already conducted 2 staff rotations. They provide very efficient and high-quality care to refugees who have been at the border and to patients living in the surrounding area. I have been there 3 times and seen how necessary it is, how well the teams work, and how much it allows us to unload our hospitals to help with other methods. They also train our doctors. Ukrainian doctors have the opportunity to come to study with them. They conduct training and are happy to communicate with our doctors. Thank you for such a great and open answer. One last question. We have applied for the EFMA conference together with you. In 2022, this conference has been held in Lviv. What is the current mood of your partners? Will there be an online conference? What is the current situation?
конференція, можливо, в форматі онлайн, чи як зараз відбувається ситуація?
Indeed. This conference has been postponed twice since 2020 due to the pandemic. We were already convinced that in May we had chosen such a time that the almost crazy period was to stop. And really it stopped, but other events began for us, and we had not rejected this idea now. We just talked to the leaders of the European Forum of Medical Associations about whether to hold the event or not. In fact, they would come and not be afraid. This was shown by the head of the Israeli Medical Society. It is possible. We said that hotels had the opportunity to host, and there are conference halls where to hold, and doctors are not afraid. The problem is a lack of planes and connections to Lviv and Ukraine. It is a logistical issue. This idea had not been rejected. It was supposed to be in May, but they had to decide, if we do, it will be a hybrid event. We would spend time in the studio with the doctors and professors who can come, and the rest would join online, as it is during the last forums. Still, our colleagues who help us, who dream of visiting Lviv, Ukraine, will insist on postponing or making it possible to have transport to come to Ukraine. We have already thought about the logistics arrangements from either Warsaw or Krakow. I think this issue will depend on many reasons. We still have a week to see how events will develop politically, the negotiation process, which is a threat to our colleagues. They have to make that decision. We are waiting for them. We invite everyone to Lviv to hold conferences here. Not only this one, any conferences, because Lviv is a city to discover. Lviv is also open in scientific terms. Lviv is rich with museums, rich with history, and rich with people who want to see you here in Lviv. Thank you, Mr. Andriy, for such a conversation. Sincere and great. We hope that the whole world will support us. It has already done a lot. Everything will be fine. Ukraine will win, together, to victory. Thank you.
And one more time, we want to emphasize on our fundraising initiatives that you can join. That's MPI Foundation for Ukrainian Students, and that's PLUST, that's the help for humanitarian aid in Ukraine. All the details will be on our social media. Join, help, stay with Ukraine. Thank you for all the support that we get. Thank you for sharing the information. Thank you for having Ukrainians and listening to Ukrainians in your organizations. We know that the victory will come soon, and we invite you to Lviv, to Ukraine after the war. It is still a lot of work to do right now and after the war, and we count on you, our international partners, to help us win this war.
Global Meetings Industry Day 2022, Meet Safe Ukraine. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for all of the donation. Thank you for thinking about the future and supporting students, event professionals, or just Ukrainian families. From hybrid events to events, from peace to the powerful message from different industry professionals from all around the world. When we meet, we can support, we can donate. When we meet, we can drink coffee. When we meet, finally, we are together. My name is Krzysztof Celoch, and it was great pleasure to be with Sofia here in Lviv.
Thank you for being with us. It's really important that Ukraine is supported by the world. We are really happy to see our industry active and always ready to act even more actively. Thank you for donations. Thank you for your actions in your cities, in your countries, and stay with Ukraine. Come to Lviv, come to Ukraine after our victory. We will be very happy to see you here. My name is Sofia Kayinska. I'm the acting director of Lviv Convention Bureau. You can contact us and ask whatever you want to get more information about Ukraine and Lviv. Thank you.